Welcome back. Part 2 of The Boy Who Cried Abba. We left off with Willie Wan entering the small adobe church. He's always drawn to the big crucifix on the main altar. This day he decided to get a close look. Willie Wan entered the quiet church and walked slowly down the side aisle, pleased that the sacred place was empty. He struggled to pull a stepladder from the sacristy over to the main altar and then climbed up to inspect the face of the man on the cross. Willie Wan gently touched his face, tracing the brow, the cheeks, the chin. Then Willie Wan looked up into his eyes. His eyes were so sad, yet so gentle and so kind. As Willie Wan stared, he realized with a start that this was the great El Shaddai, the one who was a friend to all children. Willie Wan continued to caress the face, recalling his grandmother's quiet words. We're all God's children, by the way. The one who was a friend to all children, Willie Wan continued to caress the face, recalling his grandmother's quiet words about this loving man allowing the truth of his discovery to wash over him again and again, until he understood to the very center of his being that this was the one who loved him. This was the one who loved him. Did you catch that? Willie Wan continued to caress the face, recalling his grandmother's quiet words about this loving man allowing the truth of his discovery to wash over him again and again, until he understood to the very center of his being that this was the one who loved him. The man looked thirsty, and Willie Wan felt sorry for him. Can you just see the innocence of Willie Wan? He scrambled down off the stepladder, got a cup of water, and scrambled back up, trying not to spill it. And just think of Jesus. Whatever you have done to the least of these, you have done unto me. Here he is, little Willie Wan, giving a cup of water to the great El Shaddai, a statue. Sorry. No, I'm not. Carefully, he poured the cool water into the half-open mouth of the man on the cross. But the statue did not move its lips, and the water ran down the painted chin and splashed onto the altar below. A few drops splashed onto the painted cheeks, making it look like the sad eyes had let out some tears. Suddenly, Willie Wan heard scornful laughter. He twisted around quickly, nearly losing his balance, and saw 3 of his classmates who had sneaked in through the side door of the church and had watched Willie Wan try to comfort the man on the cross. After jeering at him, They ran over to the parish house and told the priest, who came running back with them. Never, never, never tamper with the holy things, the priest scolded Willie Wan. But, Padre, he looked so thirsty, and I just wanted to help him. Willie Wan tried to explain about the man's sad, gentle, piercing eyes as he quickly scrambled down off the stepladder and tugged it back to the sacristy. The priest only scoffed at him. They're just paint, he huffed. Why are you trying to pour water down the throat of a wooden statue? You'll just ruin it. Besides, we live in an age of resurrection-centered theology, he told Willie Wan, about the parousia and about ascensions and assumptions and about eschatological realities and all the other wonderful things he had learned in his seminary training, or he himself had learned from his own reading. Willie Wan listened politely and said, "Thank you." What a missed opportunity for this priest. "Thank you," as he backed out the door of the church. He walked down by the edge of the river, thinking about the wet tears on the painted face. Willie Wan quickly forgot everything the priest told him. Good idea. But he did not forget the man with the sad, gentle, and beautiful eyes. Better idea. All that other stuff doesn't matter if the focus isn't on the man with the sad, gentle, and beautiful eyes. That was my comment, by the way. The summer ended, and the cooling days of autumn blew in over the mountains. Time passed by quickly as Willie Wan started back to school. As the weeks went by, Willie Wan's thoughts returned again and again to the man on the cross. And when he recalled his eyes, Willie Wan was filled with a myriad of emotions, from compassion to curiosity and wonder. He was also looking forward to the fiesta of the Virgin of Guadalupe, which was the next big celebration in their village. Held in mid-December, the fiesta was a rollicking, joyful celebration. There were fireworks, dancing, a costumed religious pageant, a jalapeno festival, and a torchlight procession that wound through the entire village. Best of all, there was a special carnival just for the children. He had been saving up money from his job, caring for the village donkey. Although it was a job that no one else wanted, to Willie Wan, it was an important job. The village had one burro, called Pedro, who lived in the center of town. Because the village had no generator to pump water, it was necessary to travel out to the Arriba, the well in the desert, to carry back a family's ration of water. Until 4 years ago, there had been running water pushed to the huts by an electric pump running off the only generator in the village. Then one black night, a howling thunderstorm silenced the generator, and the water flowed no more. After school, Willie Wan and Pedro would make the trip many times, bringing back loads of water for those who needed it. Willie Wan then fed the animal and gave him clean straw to lie down on. For this, Willie Wan earned 14 pesetas a week. By the time the great day of the fiesta arrived, Willie Wan had saved up 78 pesetas, with an additional 22 that Calm Sunset had given him. He set out for the fair, clutching 100 pesetas to spend on anything he liked. As he limped eagerly into the village square, his eyes danced as he saw the prancing ponies of the carousel, the cotton candy stand, the ladies in their brilliantly colored swirling skirts, the men in their sequined sombreros worn just once a year, and the colorful clown in a zebra suit, dancing like a gazelle. The air was filled with music and laughter and the mouth-watering smells of cooking food. There were old favorites like fajitas, burritos, hot tortillas, chili tacos, chili rellenos, and nachos, and the special fiesta foods of enchiladas stuffed with chicken, pork stew with chilies and black beans, frijoles, rancheros, green chili stew, savory cornbread, Raggedy Ann pudding, and sweet potato pie. Vendor after vendor lined the square, fires dancing merrily beneath the skillets, fragrant steam bellowing into the air. It's making me hungry. Willie Wan was wandering around, absorbing the fiesta, trying to decide whether he should buy a simple tortilla or a plump, juicy fajita, when he caught sight of an old wooden wagon hitched to a small sorrel mare. On the side of the wagon hung a sign, "The Great Medicine Show." Curious, he headed over toward the wagon, pausing at the edge of the crowd. Suddenly, he felt his heart rise in his throat. A tall, gaunt, angular man had stepped out of the buckboard and was about to speak when he stared across the crowd of people, straight at Willie Wan. The man's face was as worn and weather-beaten as the wagon wheels, but the eyes. "Oh, Madre, it is El Shaddai," Willie Wan breathed. He knew right away, because the eyes were so sad, yet so gentle, so piercing, and so kind. And then the man smiled at Willie Wan, his face glowing like a sunburst over the Sierra Padre, his eyes sparkling with joy. "Hello, little brother," he beamed. "I have been waiting for you. I hoped I would see you today." Willie Wan was startled. He was not used to this sort of greeting. People were not usually pleased to see him. "Come here and stand by me," the man said, placing his scarred hand on Willie Wan's copper hair with a gentle tussle. "Tell me your name." "My name is Willie Wan," said the boy, ducking his head and shrugging. Pulling him closer, the man gently tilted Willie Wan's face up to his. "People call me the Medicine Man." The man smiled. "You seem very alone, Willie Wan." He turned and reached into the back of his wagon. "I have a special gift for you, little brother," he said, handing Willie Wan a small bottle containing a clear orange ointment. "Rub 3 drops on your heart, 1 tonight, 1 tomorrow, and 1 the next day, and wonderful things will happen." Willie Wan reached into his pocket for pesetas, but the medicine man stopped him, saying, "Keep your money, Willie Wan. What I have freely received, I freely give." I love this part. This whole part. A small crowd gathered, but no one reached for this potion, which the medicine man explained was called amarine, or medicine of love. It had, he claimed, miraculous healing powers, especially for heart trouble. I gotta pause here and just share. I'm sorry. I hadn't read this book for several years and pretty much had forgotten what it was about because, like I said, I gave it a read. I thought it was really good and never let it really minister to me as it did the other day. And whether this is happening for you or not, that's not the point. It's okay. Just hear the story. But I had been praying and I asked the Lord one morning, I asked him if he had something to give me. And I just sensed in my spirit, like I'm hearing him say, yes, I have a love balm for you, a love oil that I want you to rub on your heart. And just innocently, I just received that from him in the spirit and began to rub my heart. Many months ago, the Lord had spoke to me and told me that my heart had been mangled. And I won't go into all of that, but it was a very painful, difficult time, relationship-wise with, well, there were many relationships at that time prior to that, but the one that was really hurting me the most. I don't really want to say on this public video, but it wasn't my husband. And after crying and crying, the Lord revealed to me how much my heart had been mangled. But I just felt him. I asked him to heal my heart, to go to the very root. And over time, he has been healing that place inside of me. Even though outward circumstances haven't changed, inside. And the other day, him saying to rub this oil of love, this balm, this love balm onto my heart. It was just such a beautiful, intimate moment with him. And lo and behold, the day after that, I just felt him keep bringing this book to my mind. I didn't even remember the name of it, but I knew I had it. And I knew what the cover looked like. I kept seeing it. And so when I read it the other day, and I came to this part in the book where the medicine man gave Willie one the amarine. What did he call it? The amarine. And told him to rub 3 drops on his heart. It was really beautiful. It was and I knew I was supposed to read this book. And I'm telling you, as I read the other day with Jesus, I just felt even more healing going on, not only in my heart but my whole body. And I'm just so grateful. Amarine, medicine of love. There is nothing greater than love, and God is love. Oh, how he loves us. Anyway, I'm going to back up because now I don't remember where I left off. A small crowd gathered, but no one reached for the potion, which the medicine man explained was called amarine. Seems I found exactly where I left off. Or medicine of love. It had, he claimed, miraculous healing powers, especially for heart trouble. Ha! Ha! All I'd get from that phony stuff, one man shouted, is a good case of heartburn. The crowd laughed in delight. That's true, the medicine man, or I should say it like this. That's true, the medicine man answered softly. Your heart would burn. But no one heard him except Willie Wan. The crowd continued to laugh. Burn in a good way. You want that fire. You want that burning. You want that fire of love. The crowd continued to laugh and mock good-naturedly, slowly drifting away. No one took a single bottle, even though the medicine man was willing to give it away. All alone now. And that's what he does. Man. All alone now, he sat down in the buckboard. Willie Wan approached him and asked in a shy voice, Senor, with the the stuff in the bottle, will it make my crooked legs straight and make my scars go away? Willie Wan was startled by what happened next. The medicine man picked him up and sat him on his knee. Willie Wan was frightened. He was afraid that when the medicine man saw his skin up close with all the scars, he'd start to laugh, like all the people in the village who had nicknamed him Speckled Trout. But the medicine man did not laugh. Instead, he drew Willie Wan in close, resting the burnt orange head next to his heart. It was so warm and peaceful there that Willie Wan thought of the fireplace in the hut where he and his grandmother lived. But then he felt drops of water on his head, and he looked up to see tears streaming from the medicine man's eyes. He thought at first that the medicine man was hurt, but then realized as he looked into the loving eyes that these were tears of compassion. He thought of his mother. He had felt love in the arms of his mother and grandmother before, but never love like this. Willie Wan snuggled back against the medicine man's heart, clutched the bottle of amarine in his hand, and waited patiently for the answer. Willie Wan, my medicine is so powerful that not only will it straighten your crooked leg, it will straighten all winding paths and all crooked hearts. Through my amarine, every valley of pain shall be filled. Every mountain of pride shall be leveled, and all humankind shall see the salvation of El Shaddai. Willie Wan really didn't understand that, but he did understand when the medicine man asked, little brother, would you like to share some lunch with me? Willie Wan couldn't believe it. Sharing a meal was a sign of friendship. And in his whole life, no one had ever invited Willie Wan to share a meal. In fact, no one in his whole life except his mother and Calm Sunset had ever asked him to share anything. Feelings Willie Wan never even knew existed welled up in his heart. In his own village, Willie Wan was an outsider, isolated and unwanted. But the medicine man wanted to share his own lunch pail with him. Reminding me of so many of the stories in the Bible right now. So many of the things that happened, like the feeding of the 5,000 and that Jesus is the bread of life, that we are to feed on him, his body, his blood. Oh my gosh, there's just so much here. It's so rich. I guess that's why it's called a parable, the book. I'm sorry. I'm going to keep apologizing, but I really don't. I'm not sorry because this is how it touched me. Anyway. Feelings Willie Wan never even knew existed welled up in his heart. In his own village, Willie Wan was an outsider, isolated and unwanted, but the medicine man wanted to share his own lunch pail with him. Willie Wan was beside himself with joy. He reached into his pocket, pulled out all his pesetas, and exclaimed, "I'll buy dessert, cotton candy, lemon ices, dandelion cookies, anything you want." They ate heartily. Never was a meal so sweet. Willie Wan talked excitedly. The medicine man listened quietly. Willie Wan spoke about the death of his father and mother, the accident, his grandmother, and her healing aloe oil, how hard school was, and how he wished that he'd had a friend. He looked up into the medicine man's sad, gentle eyes and grew bold enough to ask, "Senor, Senor, would you be my friend?" "Willie Wan, I am your friend," the medicine man quietly answered. "Yippee! I'm so happy!" Willie Wan clapped gleefully. "I can't wait to tell my grandmother. As soon as I get home, I'm going to tell her that I have a new friend. She will be happy too." They finished eating and began to clean up. As they gathered up the leftovers, Willie Wan noticed that the medicine man's lunch pail wasn't large enough to contain all the fragments. Willie Wan found a grocery bag to help carry the leftovers home. Calm Sunset could enjoy sharing the meal as well. Then, without warning, a cold chill gripped Willie Wan's heart. "I never had a friend before," he realized, "and I don't know how friends act. The medicine man is so kind to me. He shares his food. He doesn't laugh at my scarred skin. He listens to me. What if I'm not a good friend? What if I disappoint him? What if he changes his mind? I could lose my only friend." Panic shook the whole of his little frame, and Willie Wan grabbed the medicine man's hand and cried out, "Oh, Senor, please tell me, what does it mean to be a friend?" And here we pause, and we will move on in the next video to part 3.